People think that we have this secret list somewhere in a safe, and that's really not true.
Tonight we're hearing from Archbishop Gregory Aymond as the Catholic Church continues to grapple with the sex abuse scandal. Locally, the issue made headlines after recent revelations about two major settlements by the church and Jesuit high school.
Well, now Archbishop Aymond is considering releasing a list that could identify those who face credible complaints of sexual abuse. Danny Monteverdi spoke with the Archbishop just a short time ago and joins us live from the Archdiocese headquarters. Danny.
Good evening, Karen. That's right. Archbishop Aymond sat down with us for a lengthy interview today. Now, he stresses that the Archdiocese of New Orleans has had no credible complaint in the last 10 years. Even still, this is a research that they're doing that is a major project. Archbishop Gregory Aymond is the latest leader in the Catholic Church to consider releasing a list that IDs members of the clergy and others who have had credible complaints of abuse filed against them.
It's not as easy, or I should say it's much more complicated than people say, and we want to do it right, and we want to do it responsibly.
Aymond says no list exists right now, and a committee is handling putting one together.
The conclusion doesn't come to me, but rather it goes to a review board of lay people who are experts in law enforcement, as well as psychology, psychiatry, and then they review all the data and then make a recommendation as to whether or not they think it's credible.
BishopAccountability.org, a clergy abuse watchdog website, reports that more than 50 dioceses across the country, out of about 200, have released similar lists. But Tim Lennon, president of the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, also known as SNAP, cautions that those lists must be viewed with a skeptical eye. In Buffalo, New York, for example, Bishop Richard Malone released a list of 32 names. Then,
a whistleblower dropped documents, and we find out that really there was 100. The bishop had decided for himself who he was going to, the names he was going to release.
Among those Malone didn't identify members of religious orders, such as the Jesuits. Recent reports about sexual abuse at Jesuit high school here in the 70s and 80s are what put this issue back in the news locally. The people who would be ID'd by the Archdiocese, that's sort of TBD right now.
Correct.
Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from the Archbishop on if law enforcement ever comes to the Archdiocese to discuss any cases with them, what their response would be. But for now, reporting live, Danny Monteverdi, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
Danny, thank you.